This video is titled Why You Shouldn't Settle for a Medical Degree or an MD or even a DO or whatever else. And the reason for that is not because of the degree itself. I'm going to talk at the end of the video about collecting degrees and why that's problematic, even starting from college if you have degrees you don't have a specific use for. But what I'm talking about here is the things that you should do outside of the degree itself in order to become an excellent physician and in order to make a difference in the health of your patients and in the general population. So what am I talking about then? Well, a lot of what I'm about to say is inspired by the book Blind Spots, where the author talks about different failures of the medical establishment, from things like the HIV contaminated blood supply, where for years people were unwilling to consider the possibility that HIV was possible to transfer from blood transfusions, and it caused almost a complete eradication of people with hemophilia in the United States because they relied on semi-frequent blood transfusions. Like, it was just a regular thing for them, and almost all of them got AIDS and died. Talks about other things like peanut allergy crisis and the bad recommendation to avoid giving peanuts to kids until they reach a certain age, which goes against what we understand about immunology to begin with and how vaccines work and all of that. And there's a bunch of other case studies that it talks about, including hormone replacement therapy for menopausal women, and it just goes on and on. But I think the lesson here, and the thing that all future doctors should aspire to outside of the degree itself, is critical thinking skills and understanding of what the prescription is for the doctors, like what the recommendation is for them to do. People need to be understanding why they're doing what they're doing and questioning why they're doing what they're doing at all times. And it's easy to launder in premises when you're looking at complicated issues, whether it's medicine, whether it's anatomy and physiology and drug mechanisms, or other topics like economics. Whenever there's something very complicated, it becomes increasingly difficult to understand all of the minutia of the subject matter. And look, I'm not saying you have to understand every single detail, but I am saying, doctors specialize. And when you specialize, you see a lot of the same stuff every day. And those things that you're seeing every day, I think, outside of the degree itself, outside of the medical degree, outside of, MD, DO, whatever, you should question what you're learning. And you should try to decide if you believe it's true, if you think there should be something else done, looking through research as it comes out, and ultimately advocating for when something is wrong in the medical establishment. I mean, you can look at things in the past, for example, like frontal lobotomies. There's just been a lot of tragedies and atrocities within the medical establishment. So it's not really that far-fetched to say there could be similar things going on today. And a lot of people are very closed-minded. I think we need to have radical humility in the medical establishment, because it's easy to get in your own head when you're the medical director. It's your role to direct the care, to create a plan for the patient, and it's hard to admit when you're wrong, especially when you have this authority that's given to you. So when I say don't settle for an MD, what I mean by that is don't settle for just learning the curriculum. You should try to understand the curriculum, think critically about the curriculum, and innovate in that field. Learn about things outside of your practice. Learn about economics, history, these sorts of things, insurance, the stuff they don't teach you in school in your degree. And then, now I'm going to revisit the point I was talking about earlier about collecting degrees. So I shouted at a doctor named Carlos, who's a neurologist, and he told me a lot of people get into this area where they start collecting degrees that they never use. Whether you're getting an MD, PhD, or getting a master's degree or whatever, a lot of people add more degrees because they're unsure what their next step is. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I actually strongly discourage anyone getting any degree in anything unless they know why they want it. I think you should treat higher education a little bit like trade school, where you're getting the degree to pursue some sort of career path or some sort of future goal. Because if you just want to learn things and gain knowledge, it's been said a million times by a million people. You can do it for free. You can get a library card. You can look on the internet. You can read all these books for free on like archive.org or other websites to get the books for free.